This is Two Addicts and a Moron.
Two Addicts and a Moron.
We are here.
We are here.
And we are ready. Basis of this is two addicts and a fucking moron right here in the middle. I've never been an addict. I don't know anything about addiction. I just love a dude who was an addict and wanted to know more about it and get a little more insight into what it is that what it is that they struggle with. And through that, I met Mike, fell in love with them right away.
Most people do.
And then J-Kline came into the picture.
Yep.
He had the same struggles, has the same story. And I'm here just to be a guy who just loves a guy with an addiction and wants to guide myself and you to understand what it is to love an addict, because we all don't understand it and I don't get it. It was really easy for me to look at Mike and be like, just fucking stop. But that doesn't work and it never will. So hopefully their stories will help you and my stories will help you. And that's why we're here. So
and bring a little comedic relief amidst the chaos and craziness that we both share as well.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's plenty of that shit to go along the way.
We fucking love chaos.
Oh yeah,
Dude. In my sobriety now, I'm still like, I need fucking chaos somewhere.
yeah.
Like, give me some a little gossip, give me a little bit of this. I want to hear all the shit, even though it's not good for me. I still like that addict mentality for being high for 10 years. That's all that my life was. So now it's like, when I hear chaos, I'm like, what about? Let me know what's going on. I want to hear it. And then I got to pull myself away and say, you know what? I can't really get tied up in that shit so much these days.
Yeah, can't do it because I'll get lost in it. And if I get lost in it, I'm probably going to stay in it.
Yeah,
for a long
100%.
time. And, I think that's the beautiful thing about being in sobriety and being in recovery is the peace and the serenity that I have today, that I walk with today, because it is easy to get lost in the sauce and the chaos,
Yeah,
and the craziness.
that negativity.
Right, especially in today's world, it's a lot going on, and it's only a click or a video clip away.
That's right.
And I think that's the beauty of what we're trying to do here as well is we're trying to bring some positivity. We're trying to bring some inspiration and some motivation to those that are struggling and those that are dealing with it, or even those that have recovered and are just because you recover doesn't mean the struggles go away. It's new struggles.
Yeah.
Shit,
They say
I'm
the battle-
sober and I struggle.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I've never been an addict in my life and I struggle
Absolutely.
just as much as anybody else.
I've always heard the real battle starts when you get sober,
Right.
especially from addiction, because now you have to deal with shit like a normal person does.
Right.
And, the way that I've always dealt with stress or anxiety or fucking any of that is I'll just get high.
Right.
I'm going to get high and I don't have to worry about the shit.
Right.
But whenever you become sober, it's like, fuck, now I got to deal with this like a normal person. And that can be hard.
Yeah.
Especially in the back of your mind, that drug is saying, I know, I'll make you feel better.
Right.
I'll make you feel so much
Take it all away.
Take it all away.
Take it all away. Put that little warm blanket on me. Let me feel nice and warm and fuzzy.
Hell yeah.
But it keeps socking the shit out of you.
Every time. And, yeah, drugs do feel good for a second. And then, but I guess what I really had to do is I had to look at what comes with that.
Yeah.
And at what cost and at what price.
Mm-hmm.
And for 13 years, I paid the cost heavily. And those that were around me and dealt with me and lived with me and loved me and tried to love me, and they unfortunately had to pay that price and cost too.
Yeah.
I think before we get started, I think that's a good segue. Let's go ahead and let's just give a moment of silence
100%.
to those that are still out there, that are still struggling, to the families and friends and loved ones that are affected by it, and for those that unfortunately weren't able to make it back. That's what we do this for, man.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So with your guys' addiction, and I want to kind of go to the grassroots of it. Where do you feel, and this is open to either one of you, whoever wants to take it, but where do you feel like it started? Where do you feel like it began? I know that's a loaded question, but it's
great question.
It's a good question. For me, through life, we call them normies, like people that can drink and do drugs and like not do it every day or do it once a month. That's how I started. I would do ecstasy on a weekend, or I was never really a big weed smoker. I drank a lot, but drinking was never really a big deal for me. When I started doing meth, that was a whole nother level. It was like, wow, I love the way that feels. Like, that feels good. But I was able to put it down. I was able to do it and then not do it for a month, do it and then not do it for 2 months. And then whenever I went through my divorce, I didn't know how to handle that pain. I didn't know how to handle that rejection or look, I caused a lot of damage. It wasn't her fault. But that's how I dealt with it. Instead of feeling what I was feeling, I was like, man, I'm just going to get high because that makes me feel better.
Cover it up.
Yeah. And then getting high every day turned into, well, now I got to get high to go to work because now I've been high. I've been up for 4 days. So now I need energy to go to work. And that turned into a 10-year addiction where at one point, I was doing about an 8 ball of meth a day, every single day.
That's crazy.
That's a lot. Yeah. And that's where mine came from. That's where my addiction went. And for 10 years, that's what I was in. It got to the point for me where I just thought that's what life was. Life was just, God put me here to get high. I mean, that's what I felt. I'm just going to get high every day. And as I got older, I started losing things from that addiction. And then I got to a point to where I'm looking back saying, well, shit, now I can't go back and get all that. Like I had it when I was 32 or 35. Now I'm 40 and I've already lost all that. And it was almost like I was giving up in a way because this was just what my life was. And until I went to rehab, that's what my life was.
So it's safe to say this probably began for you in your 20s?
Yeah. I started getting high in my 20s. The addiction really started when I was like 32 or so. 32 till about 42, those 10 years. That's where I was getting high every single day. Well, before that, I was able to, I would do drugs here and there, but it wasn't anything that I couldn't put down. Like, I remember the first time someone called me a drug addict. They're like, you're a meth addict. And I was so offended. I was like, no, I'm fucking not. I'm not a meth addict. I have a house. I don't live on the streets. But I really was. That's why it offended me so much.
Yeah.
Because I was. It was the first time like I ever thought about it. And I was like, holy shit, I really am an addict. Like, I'm a full-blown meth addict.
Yeah. I'm right there with them for a lot of that. However, I think for me, my story is kind of different because like I'm a literal and actual product of substance abuse and recovery just from birth. My biological father, he was a heroin addict and crack addict, sex addict. My mom, yeah, he was all
check all the boxes.
He was
Let's check them all.
I'm an addict of that.
Yeah, I'm just an addict.
Let's call it what it is.
What's your affliction?
I jerk off a lot.
Yeah.
It's 3 times a day.
So my dad was that. My mom was an alcoholic. My mom has a crazy story. She definitely needs to come on here and share her story if she's down. She got sober though in 1989.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's still sober to this day. Wow. I was born in 1991, so my biological father and my mom never really had a relationship once I was born. My dad wasn't even there for my birth, not even on my birth certificate, and didn't really play a large role in my life. And he ended up passing away from heroin-related health issues in 2001. So I grew up with a single mom for the first 6-7 years of my life, and I would go to AA meetings with my mom. I'm 6 or 7 years old going to AA meetings.
Wow.
She met my current stepdad in AA. They
nice.
Met in AA, got married as a result from meeting in AA.
Did they get married in AA?
No, they didn't.
Fuck it. No. Let's go ahead and have a meeting at the wedding.
They probably could have. So when I say I'm a literal product of that, I mean, I am.
So you grew up in it.
I grew up in it, but not so much addiction because I didn't really see that from my father's side. My mom didn't keep me from him, but, if he was using, it wasn't going to go there, and he probably wasn't going to be available anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't grow up around drugs and alcohol. It wasn't, and honestly, I had no intention of ever using drugs or alcohol. It just, I wanted to be a professional basketball player, and that was my dream and goal as a young kid. Then I get into high school. Well, I guess let me backtrack for a second. So I guess the feelings and emotions that I often carried as a young child of just like, I always was filled with a lot of worry and a lot of uncertainty and a lot of fear, and I always had this feeling that I was misunderstood. And a lot of times I was very misunderstood by people. And so I kind of carried that and used that, like, no one gets me, no one understands me.
Yeah.
I was constantly judged by things I would do and things I would like, because the area I grew up in, I didn't fit the mold that they wanted to, that was the society of where I grew up at. I was the outlier, the outcast. But it wasn't until I guess my sophomore, junior year in high school is when I really started to like exploring partying and substances, mainly just alcohol and weed, but particularly just weed. I didn't really like the effects produced by alcohol. I wanted to get high. I just wanted to chill and just vibe.
Right.
And that's what it was for the longest. I would just go to high school parties and I'd show up. I got the weed. People wanted the weed. I would sell the weed, smoke the weed. We can just vibe and chill and party. And when I say I'm trying to be misunderstood, now I'm going to these parties and I have found
Now you're understood.
a lot of these people were the kids that used to hate on me.
Right. Now they accepted you.
Now I'm accepted, and this is what I've been waiting for.
Your tribe.
I found my tribe, and I'm accepted finally. I've been waiting this my whole life, and now I'm like the popular kid, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I'm only popular to a degree because I went to a kind of an upper class high school, country club high school, if you will, to some degree. But that wasn't my background. My background was more of a hardworking middle class family. So now I've been accepted into this group, like I said, only to a degree, because they can't bring me around their parents and their type of people, because oh my God, what are you gonna do to my children? Are you gonna influence them to do drugs?
Yeah.
If only they knew that they were doing it too.
I'm the one your parents warned you about.
Right.
Yeah.
But really,
Yeah, they were doing the same shit too.
So is it safe to say that, like, I mean, kind of two separate stories here at the base, at the fundamental level? Do you think yours was a little more genetically predisposed to it, or?
Oh, absolutely. I used to, I didn't buy that, but like when my mom first caught me smoking weed or saw me high, she would give me the speech, the recovery mom speech. Jacob, your chances at using successfully, no matter what substance it is, it's probably not going to be too likely of a chance that you're going to be able to do that.
Right.
I mean, look at me and look at your dad, and you probably don't have a good shot at
It was spoken by a pro, though.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, but nobody wants to listen to their fucking mom about anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm like, Mom, and this is what I told her. I said, you don't understand.
Of course.
You don't understand. See, I'm sorry you couldn't use like that. I'm sorry your life went like that, but that's not me, and that's not what I'm trying to do, and that's not what I'm going to be. See, I'm just in high school. This is what we're supposed to do.
Right.
Supposed to just party and bullshit, have fun, make memories, enjoy this little thing, because that's what you do in high school, right? You're supposed to party and have fun, make memories.
Those were the best years of your life,
Right? And I lived for that. And then my senior year comes on, and when I spoke about the fear and the worry, that's when that fear and worry starts to arise, right? Because now I'm in my final year of high school, and I've spent a lot of time partying. I didn't get awful grades, but I didn't get great grades. I wasn't going to no university, and I damn sure wasn't going to the military. That was my mindset. I wasn't doing either of that, so I'm going to go to community college, and all my friends that I'm chill with are going to go off and do their own thing, and they're going to go to prestigious universities, or they got family businesses that they can go to, and they're going to start off with a salary to do whatever they want. Whatever. There was a lot of a mixed emotions of uncertainty, like, dang,
a bunch of fear.
And hey, that party I've been living in for the last year and a half, I guess the clock is ticking, and the party is going to come to an end, right? Well, I didn't want the party to stop.
Yeah.
So let's kick it up a notch here in high school. Let's really enjoy this senior year, this final year that we have together. Because honestly, I know what's going to happen to me, but I don't know. And so this kid moves to our high school, and I swear to God, it was like he was sent there on a mission. It was like he was a plant in our high school. This guy came here out of nowhere, right? And he comes there with all the pills and all the drugs out of nowhere, our senior year. And he comes there, he's got the Loratabs, he's got the Xanax, he's got the methadone pills.
The old school shit.
She's got everybody. I never forget. There's like 15 of us, of me and like my classmates. We all are in the bathroom, and this guy's just dealing out pills.
It sounds like a popular dude.
Instant success. He was a big hit on campus. He was a big hit. And I remember I popped 2 of those Loratabs, and I'm like, oh my God. I think I found myself. I found it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be triggering, and I don't want to glamorize or glorify, but this is just the reality of what it was. The comfort and the wholeness, and I felt relaxed.
Right. You didn't feel the fear anymore.
I didn't feel fear. I felt fearless.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, people speak about alcohol providing this sense of confidence.
Liquid courage.
Liquid courage. No, my liquid courage came in the form of a pill, and it said Watson on it.
Yeah.
And I popped them, and I would go to class, and I'm like, oh my God, it gave me energy.
Right.
I was ready to take on the world. I had no fear. I was comfortable. I felt confidence. I felt alive. I was worry-free. The thoughts that would constantly go through my mind nonstop were finally silenced. When I say warm blanket, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, start off with 2. Then I'm like, you know what? Let's kick it up a notch. Let's do 4 at once. So 4,000 milligrams. Woo!
Yeah.
I'm in class.
Out of there.
Everyone's like, what the hell is he on? Where did he come from? And I'm just in there like, yes, I feel so good. I'm alive. Yes. Been waiting for this my whole life. And, like Mike said, it didn't start off to where I was doing it every day. It was, maybe once a week, twice a week, or maybe every other week. And that's how it started.
Well, look, man, I think everybody can go through the nuances of what I think starts addiction. It could be different for everybody. It could be genetics. It could be, but the common thing that I heard between you two is the fear.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of where it all kind of stems from.
Yeah.
Fear of not belonging, fear of whatever.
Yeah.
And you want something to make that go away.
Yeah.
And, it sounds like you guys found it, but it took you on a pretty fucking wild ride.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
So, where did it go from there? Like how, I guess what I'm trying to figure out right now is when was the point, and you touched on it a little bit, but when was the point where you were like, where you had the self-reflection of, I am an addict?
So mine was Mike, I have a cool story if you want to hear a cool story.
Dude, that's what I'm here to do.
I used to gamble a lot, and I'd go to strip clubs every single night. So I had a lot of stripper friends, and I used to party with them because I always had meth, and they always liked to party. So it kind of went hand in hand together.
You're the popular guy.
So I had this stripper friend. She I won't say her name, but she lived in San Antonio, and she'd come down like every other weekend. We'd hang out. We never messed around or anything like that. We were really tight. And she came down one weekend, and she was like, hey, let's, I'm supposed to come dance tonight, but I don't feel like dancing. Can I come hang out with you? And I was like, sure. Well, at that time, my air conditioner in my house had went out, so I had a hotel room. And I said, I'm just going to be in the hotel room smoking. And she's like, fuck, cool, let's go. So she came to the hotel room, and it was weird because all of a sudden when she got there, she wanted to go out. Like, hey, let's go out. And I'm like, I thought you didn't want to go out. Well, long story short, she was trying to set me up to get robbed, right?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I had she was trying to get me, this happens a lot.
Yeah.
She was trying to get me out of the hotel room, and I was like, man, I'm not going nowhere tonight. I'm staying here. So my phone was, my battery was dead, so I had to run down to my car to get my charger, and I ran down to my car, and I'm getting my charger. These 2 guys run up and try to rob me, right? And I just got paid that day. I had money on me, and they didn't get anything from me. I don't even know if their guns were real, but long story short, the cops ended up getting called, and the cops ended up hemming me up, and then they got her out of the hotel room, and they start searching my car. Right, the guys are already gone. They left a while back, and I knew once they searched my car that they're going to get to the hotel room eventually, and I have a bunch of shit up there.
Yeah.
So one of the cops is telling me, like, do you think the girl was in on it? And I really didn't think that she was at the time. I was like, no, that's my homegirl. Yeah. And they're like, well, this happens a lot. And I'm like, so I started pretending like I had asthma, right? So I start, and she's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I got my asthma bottle upstairs in the room. I need to go get it. She's like, oh, go get it. Go get it. I don't have fucking asthma.
Yeah.
But I got to get rid of this dope out of the room, right? Because it's only a matter of time before they get up there. So I run upstairs, and I don't know, some people can probably agree with this. When you just bought a good bit of dope, you just don't want to throw it away. Yeah. So I hit it really, really well.
Up your butt?
Nah, I could have. Yeah. That would have been the second spot. I've done that many times.
Have you?
So yes,
no
100%.
We'll get into that here in a
That's
minute.
normally a go-to.
Earmark that. I want to know about shit going in your butt.
So I get upstairs and I hide this shit, right? And then I come back downstairs, and this cop, she had already talked to the girl, and the girl was like, yeah, we're just up there smoking meth, right? So now they're coming up to the room. Long story short, they get up to the room, they don't find nothing. And the cop, they're hemming me up, and they're like, hey, we're going to get the dogs in here. Well, if they get the dogs in there, I'm fucked.
Yeah, out of there.
So I just told them, hey, look, I've already gotten rid of it. And they're like, when did you get rid of it? And I said, when I pretended like I had asthma, I came up here and flushed it. So they were fucking furious. The cops were pissed. So that's when the lady was like, you're a meth addict and blah, blah, blah. And she was telling me, you know, I seen a car seat in your car. You're a horrible dad and shit like that. And that was the first experience where, like, I had to reflect back and say, man, I really have a problem. Like, if people are like, this isn't normal behavior that I do. And I didn't get arrested or anything. I mean, for whatever reason, God kept me out of trouble the entire time that I was doing this. I don't have a record. I never got arrested. I got pulled over many a times. I got searched every single time, and I always stuck things in my butt whenever I got searched, and they never found it.
Okay. So now back to the butt thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, so you said you got pulled over and shove things in your butt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you're doing that when the cop is behind you? You're actually, like, I need to know details.
So I've done it both times. As I'm getting pulled over, shove it. And if I didn't catch getting pulled over in time, like there's been times where I'm hitting a pipe and I look in my rearview and I'm getting pulled over and I'm like, holy shit.
No.
So pull over, always real cool to the cops. They get my ID, they go back and search. And then I would always hide my pipe somewhere, and the bag of dope always went in my butt. I always stuck that right in the old keister.
So I think this is an important question that everybody would have for you, but did you like it?
The best part about that is after I would get away from the cops.
So there is a best part.
Yeah. After they wouldn't find anything on me, I was always going to someone's house to smoke anyways. I just never let them know that they were smoking some
butt meth.
Some butt meth.
Asshole meth.
The old asshole meth.
Well, you should have called it that. They probably would have been. They
wouldn't have said no to it.
This is the asshole meth.
Yeah.
This is that good.
Yeah, that's good. This is what you.
I mean, you're already like smoking cleaning supplies. Why not smooth a little bit of caca with that?
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah. But yeah, that's the first time, like, whenever I thought, man, I have a problem.
Yeah.
Like, there's a problem.
For me, you know, like I said, I alluded to earlier in the story, or my share earlier, you know, I was already, like, I guess, pre-diagnosed and already had that idea, like, hey, you probably aren't going to be a successful user. Probably shouldn't do drugs.
Yeah.
And then I do drugs, and then, you know, the usage increases, and then now I'm dependent, and now I need it.
Yeah.
Now this is my lifeline, and this is my support. Because I want that feeling every day. I want to know that I'm okay every day.
Yeah.
So
was it in your head that I'm going to prove y'all wrong that I can fucking do this?
Not so much that, but I think all addicts can relate to this, what I'm about to say. I was, especially early in my addiction, I was a constant post-date setter and goalpost mover, meaning, you know what, I just really need to use right now, but I know what I'm going to do. I know I fucked my life up already in this first year and a half, but I'm gonna quit October 12th, 2011. That'll be a good day to stop.
Yeah.
Or you know, I'm just gonna, you know, just let me do this for a couple more months. You know, then I'll start tackling the debt that I've racked up and the people I've hurt and the life that I've wasted so far. I've been doing hard drugs since end of 2009, consistently since 2010. So for my first trip to rehab was 2010. I went to rehab twice. You know, the wheels of addiction had begun fully turning, and it had really become a problem in my life.
Did it? So sorry to interrupt, but like, did you already have that realization that you were an addict when you went in there, or were you still like kind of on the fence with it?
It was starting to creep up, like the realization of, I guess my mom was right. Like, I guess I really am an addict, and I am addicted, and I do need this. But however, the other side of me, the main part of me, was like, you know what? Yeah, I might be an addict, but I need this.
But who cares? Yeah, fuck.
I don't care. I need this, and I'm gonna manage this, and I'm gonna make this work some way, somehow, no matter what. I am gonna be a successful heroin addict,
A productive addict.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a functioning heroin addict. You know, I started off with pills here and there.
Yeah.
Then the pills. Once I graduated, I had a buddy. He's like, "Give me $20, and I will change your life." I said, "Okay, you got it."
Best one you ever spent.
Best and worst.
Yeah.
Gave him $20. He comes back with a foil of powder heroin, snorted it.
It
Changed my life, man. Changed my life. And I didn't know what was going to come necessarily in that little 0.1 of a gram of heroin in a foil. I started off snorting it, like I said, and then, you know, a couple times a week. And then it got, now after a year of doing that, I'm now injecting it.
Yeah.
I'm injecting a couple times a week. Now it's, oh wow, once you cross over to that needle, it's I ain't gonna say all bets are off, but you're jumping in some deep waters there.
Yeah.
And now I'm injecting as much as I can. However, if I got it, I'm gonna do it. And if I ain't got it, best believe I'm gonna get it. So this went on for a couple years, 2010, 2011, 2012, another 2 rehab stays, whatever. I didn't care. I was determined, like I said, to make this work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna make it happen because I can't let this go.
Yeah.
Right.
I need this in my life
Yeah.
because nothing else that I know of is gonna bring me these type of feelings and this type of effect and wash away my worries, take care of my pain, cure my ills, and kill my thoughts.
That's a scary fucking thought too when you get there.
And I guess what happened is I think the realization was about maybe 2018.
Damn, dude, that's a long time.
Yeah, this was like the full realization because by now I'm going to jail. I'm going to rehabs more. But also I started becoming homeless. 2014 was my first homeless experience. And I was homeless April 2014 till about August 2014, downtown Austin.
Wow.
In the
Like-
thick of the summer. My first homeless.
Like 4 months?
Yeah.
Like tents and shit. Like
No, just on the streets.
Yeah.
I actually shot a music video, one of my music videos that I did called Downfall, one of my popular songs. I actually did a scene at the church I used to sleep at over off of, I think it's like 11th Street. And I used to sleep there, or I would just wander the streets all night because I'm not going to lie, I wasn't afraid of anything.
Yeah.
But one thing I do not like to do is I don't like to sleep around other people, especially people I don't know.
Yeah.
Especially on the street with people I don't know.
Nothing sketchy about that.
It's kind of hard to get comfortable. So
I got a girlfriend I trust and love to death. I don't even like sleeping next to her.
right,
Like,
right.
fuck that.
Come on, man.
Like, I wish we had different beds.
So and like when you're homeless, I got like homeless schooled 101. And I found out that I was like, hey, I would go up to certain homeless people like, hey, where do y'all sleep at?
Yeah.
Because I tried staying at the Arch, which is a homeless shelter downtown Austin on 7th Street. I stayed there for like 30 days, but I was like, you know what? This kind of makes it hard to use because if because if the Arch, you got to be there at 5 o'clock to get in line.
Yeah.
And then they kick you out at 5 in the morning. And once you're in there is no coming in and out. You're stuck in there. So if you ain't got a bundle to use while you're in there, if you leave, you can't come back.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? This is a big inconvenience. Like, this is a big, I think I'll take my chances out there. I'll find a nice spot. So I'd go up to homeless people. Hey, where do you sleep? You know, what's a good spot to sleep at? And when I tell you, it's kind of crazy. That's the most tight-lipped thing in that type of world.
What shit.
They're not telling you where you're sleeping at. You're not getting my spot. You ain't gonna know all the good spots.
Yeah, that's
I'm sorry. I've always heard they fight over corners and shit. Like when they're hustling money.
I've seen fights.
Oh,
in
yeah.
corners.
Like,
Yeah.
this is my corner. This is my corner.
Yeah, no.
So I can only imagine, like, where's a good spot to sleep? I'm not telling you shit.
I'm from Michigan, and I was staying in Detroit for like a month and a half, and I was on a corner one time. I wasn't on the corner, but I was just witnessing it walking through the street.
Yeah.
And this old school cat came up to this other guy on the corner. He walks up to him and goes, "Shift change." Like, this is a real job. This is a real business. Shift change. And he sure did get off, and they flipped.
Yeah.
But when I say, so 2014 is my first experience with homelessness. Then, you know, my mom would let me come stay with her because I'd give her that sob story of, you know, I don't want to do this anymore.
I need a shower.
Well, one thing about me when I was homeless, I always showered and I always kept some nice clothes. How did I do that? I know I'm gonna kind of get off subject right now, but you brought up a good point. And I got a funny story to go with that as well. So I would get a gym membership and I'd have a backpack. If you're homeless, backpack's the most important piece of apparel or equipment you can have. And I'd have a backpack of like changed clothes, and I had the gym membership. So I'd get a lock and a locker. I'd keep a legit, like a consistent lock on it, not one of those temporary ones where I'd make sure my thing is locked. I'd have fresh clothes in there, you know, a couple of different outfits, socks and underwear. I would shower there, and then I would be on my way. So I had a gym membership, but I did not use the gym.
Really?
I showered, and that was my...
That's actually pretty smart.
Yeah.
I don't think, again, I'm a moron, right? It says it right there.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have ever thought of doing that shit if I was homeless.
Because, like,
I'd just be a nasty bald motherfucker.
Right. One thing I can't do is I gotta shower at least once a day.
Yeah.
And I like to wear, you know, decent clothes. I'll never forget, I was downtown one time, and this other homeless guy came up to me. He's like, "Hey, buddy, can you spare some change?" I said, "Spare some change?" I said, "I'm homeless." Yeah. He looks up, he goes, "You don't look homeless." Little did he know. I said, "Bro, I'm staying on 6th and Brazos right now." Yeah. I'm homeless. And yeah, that was my story. In and out of homelessness, on the street or in hotels, you know, cars, whatever, in and out of girls' houses that I would have relationships with until that was way too toxic. And I can't do that because once you start interfering with my drugs and my you gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. Not the drugs.
Going back to the street.
We just share it.
I'm gone.
No, this is mine.
And
you don't look like someone that would be in toxic relationship.
oh, I've been in many. And that's a story for another podcast because I
feel like
I got some stories.
that's probably a whole nother podcast.
It is.
Like
That's a whole episode.
Yeah, whole shit.
I've spent a total of 6 years in toxic relationships with 2 different women.
Yeah.
And I was toxic too, of course.
Of course.
They were also toxic as well, or we took turns.
It was more their fault. Fucking women, dude.
Yeah.
Or dudes, whatever
Yeah.
your proclivity is.
But the thing for me is, like, I guess is where it ultimately comes down to, like, around 2018, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm a friggin' drug addict. I'm a drug addict. How could I not know that?
Right.
How could I not know that I was powerless over alcohol and drugs and that my life become unmanageable? I mean, the writing was on the wall.
Right.
I've sold all my shit to get drugs. I'm homeless when I don't even need to be homeless.
Right.
I had places to go.
Yeah.
Right.
I left them if I had to, or I put myself there.
Yeah.
I'm pawning other people's shit. Friends, family. Yeah, your shit's getting took. If I'm sick, shit's getting took.
Yeah.
And I don't say that proudly at all. Did a lot of fucked up, messed up things to get my fix so I could so Jacob could feel okay for today, hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah.
No matter who it hurt.
No matter who it hurt, who was in the way. And like I said, the writing was on the wall. I used to, and after a while, it almost became like a badge of honor. I'm proud to be an addict, or at least I know I'm free. Like, I was proud of it. I remember going up to another, like when my plug wouldn't answer or I couldn't get through to him and freaking sick, and I'm wandering through East Austin. I remember going up to a guy who I could tell and I could know, because when you're in the streets like that, you know who's selling and who was using. I walked up to this guy on the block. I go, hey man, you got anything? You good? He goes, you know, when you obviously there's suspicions.
Yeah.
Who are you? You don't.
Yeah, it's not the most reputable world to be exchanging drugs on the streets.
And then once again, I got hit with the well, you don't look
homeless.
Don't look. No, I got hit with the you don't look like a drug addict.
You look like a narc.
No, I didn't say that, but if they did, I'd be pissed off. And I said, what? I constantly would wear long sleeves because I had track marks. I pulled my long sleeves up. I said, can't you see I'm a friggin' junkie? I'm a junkie, bro. Can't you tell?
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what I do. It's who I am. I'm a freaking heroin addict to the extreme, and I love it, and I'm proud of it. I want you to know I'm high.
Yeah.
Sick.
As sick as can be. I remember fucking, like I used to be proud, like, that I could get dope from anywhere for any price.
Why don't any block?
I mean, I always tell people, like, you can drop me off in fucking Boise, Idaho, and I'll find meth within 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
Like, when we would run out, we would get on Backpage and look for the worst off people that you could find on there, because we know that they're going to have dope if we can't find some.
Yeah. I moved here from Michigan, right, in 2013. So I've been using in Michigan, other states. I moved here in 2013. I had heroin waiting for me the day I got here without knowing anybody or meeting anybody. I had heroin the day I touched down in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
It's not hard to find. I mean, it's
Well,
not.
some places are a little bit harder to find than others. Like it was a big shot coming to Austin, Texas, because like down here the landscape is a little bit different to what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Because where I'm from, they got it on every corner. The shit, they gonna sell it in the gas station, in the convenience store.
Yeah.
They're announcing it like newspapers.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
In code.
In Detroit, there was a blows. Whoa, that's where you at. But here, you know, Texas is a big law and order state, so I think that plays a part. Also, it's just a different game down here than certain parts. That are more like, you know, real city.
Yeah, but you like I guess it's the game's a little bit different, but like one is the game of life, one is the game of Monopoly, playing Uno. You know what I mean? So like you just got to learn how to play that fucking game.
Once you'll
get it figured out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And once you find it, you're in.
That's right.
Because I think I know you know for sure the drug using world.
They're all fucking connected.
It's all connected.
They all know each other.
Right.
If you have this plug, I guarantee you have this plug, and they both know each other.
Yep.
They might buy from each other.
Yeah.
They might buy from the same people.
Yeah.
So what sucks about that too is when it's dry, when one's gone, they're normally all fucking out.
Yeah.
Then it's creative.
And also even the users themselves, like I can go on people's Facebook pages today and can tell by their friends.
Mutual fucking friends.
I can tell by their friends, or if they got too many game room tags on posts, you got too many slot machines or royal sweeps.
Yep.
You might be an addict.
Man, I used to fucking share those with all these different people on Messenger.
Yeah.
Like the royal sweets and all that shit. And all these game rooms, like I still drive past now in all these different game rooms that nobody would even know are there. I know they're there because that's where
the underground ones.
Yeah, I used to go there. I lost fucking money there. I fucking like during my drug addiction, I had a gambling addiction just as bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to rehab with a gambling addiction, a drug addiction, and a porn addiction. And I got rid of 2 of them. Still got the porn addiction, but I got rid of 2 of them.
Yeah,
that one's a little harder to get rid of.
I'm keeping one of these for myself. God damn it,
one for myself. Fuck it. But yeah, it's But I know whenever I was using, you know, I would get home and I'd be so bored out of my mind, and I'd be lonely. I'd be fucking lonely using by myself.
Yeah.
So I'd end up at a strip club, And then once the strip clubs would close, I'd end up at the gambling place. And once the gambling place, I had to be at work at 8, you know? I think one of the things that kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, you remember, I would fucking come into work with 30 minutes of nothing, like 30 minutes of sleep. I'd rest my mind for 30 minutes. Yeah. And I think that's one thing that kept me from never saying I was an addict, because I was a functioning addict. And I think that fucked with me a lot, because I was like,
I remember denial a little bit. It was a big deal for you. And I think it's kind of why me and you hit it off so well was I guess you're the person who really taught me this, but it was, I judged the man and I knew immediately that you just had a good heart and you were a good dude. And it wasn't until a little bit after that where they were like, yeah, he does meth. Like he's like in deep. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, and then, so those preconceived notions, like what you would normally think would be a meth head, is like, I met his daughter. Like, he's a fucking great dad. Like, you know, all this shit that I had to kind of work through. And I think, I told you this story, but when you went to rehab, when you got sent off to go to rehab, you sent yourself off. I don't want to say that you got sent off, but
no, I got sent off.
But you did.
I knew it was time.
You knew it was that.
I knew it was time.
But, and this might be that part will be a whole nother story for another day. But me and you have a fucked up sense of humor, and we knew that immediately. You'd say something fucked up, I'm gonna come in over you. You're gonna come in over that. It was just a never-ending game before, like, our bosses had to be like, "You guys are gonna you're gonna get fired."
Yeah.
You like, so we had to stop at a certain point. But when it was getting time for you to come back from rehab, I remember thinking in my brain, I was like, "Am I still gonna have my buddy?"
I mean,
like what is it going to look like now that he's not on meth? Now that I know that he was, like, are we still going to be this, the thing that I loved about you the most was,
is it
still going to be the same? Like, am I going to be fucking having to sit in a circle with this dude singing Kumbaya around a cup of water, or what the fuck is going to go on? Like, I really had no idea. So there was a level of anxiety for me too, as a guy that was just waiting for you to get out. And as proud as I was of you for doing that and going through all of that and coming out on the end that you are right now, there was a level of anxiety of me as a guy who just loved you. And I was like, are all those parts going to fucking, are they going to be gone? Are we going to still have what we had before? Like,
that's a real thing too. Because I remember when I came out of rehab, I've been working at the same company for 10 years before I got out of rehab, and I was high every day working there.
Yeah.
So when I got out, I didn't know who I was going to be, because I didn't know who I was anymore. When I went to rehab, one thing that I learned in rehab is I didn't realize how broken I was, and I didn't realize how lost I was. Like, I had completely lost myself. All right. So when I went to rehab, I was able to find myself. And one thing that I always beat myself up over was I never forgave myself. Like, for all the fuckboy shit that I did, like for hurting people, robbing people, fucking stealing from people, like not being a good dad, not being a good fucking co-parent, not being a good son, brother. I mean, you name it. Not being a good boyfriend. I mean, man, I put people through some shit. And when I got there, there was a quote that I heard, and it's my favorite quote I've ever heard. It was, forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could have been any different. And when I'll repeat it, forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could have been any different. Because for so long, I lived in the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Like, what if this, or what if that, or what if that? And then as I got in rehab, as I got closer to getting connected to God, I was like, I make a lot of mistakes, but God doesn't make any. And who's to say I didn't have to go through all of that shit to get to where I'm going? Like, so even if I would have done all the right stuff, who's to say that I wouldn't have still had to go through what I went through to come out on the other end? And I wouldn't change it. Even though I hurt a lot of people, I wouldn't change it, because that's how I'm able to tell this story now. And hopefully people that hear this story can say, man, he was fucked off too, and he figured out a way. I can figure out a way too.
Right. But at the end of the day, and maybe this is, you guys, again, this is kind of, I'm just a clown in this rodeo here, but do you think that with the forgiveness of yourself, do you now have to do like daily things to help? Because we're all broken, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like every single one of us is broken, whether you're using or you're not. I feel like we all are. The more life goes on, the more shit gets piled on, the more things scatter or they break, and you know, bills and kids and all that kind of shit. So so now that you don't have the drug, and you said that you figured out how broken you were, and that was a compounding thing over time, obviously,
right?
And you just didn't have the balls to deal with it at the time, right?
I didn't know that I was broken when I was using.
Exactly.
And
so now that you're not,
how do I deal with that?
How do you kind of, is it something that you have to wake up and kind of face daily? Like, yeah, these are things that I don't like so much about myself anymore, and I've got to like work on that and does it help you do the daily work, I guess, or maybe a weekly work, or so it doesn't get big again? And
so something crazy about getting sober is I'm still fucked up.
Right.
I still have a lot of fucked up character flaws, character defects, and things that I got to work on every single day.
I do too.
And the difference is now I'm able to recognize a lot of things that where in the past I didn't recognize it. So before I say the wrong thing to this person, or before I snap off at this person, I can think, like, when I do snap off on somebody, now I feel guilty about it because I don't want to be that person anymore.
Right.
Like, I'll give you a good example. The other day I went to the gym and this guy said something to me and I didn't like it. So I was like, hey, you're being an asshole, right? And he walked out. He said, oh, my bad. I wasn't trying to be an asshole or anything like that. And instantly when he walked off, I was like, I need to apologize to that guy because I was actually being the asshole. I took what he said. I don't know what his day is going like, but I didn't like what he said, so I decided to be an asshole.
Yeah.
So before I left, I went in his office and said, hey, man, I was being a dick earlier, and I apologize. That's not who I am, and that's not the person I'm trying to be. And he said, oh, man, it's cool. I was probably being a dick too. You know, that's the difference, is I think I can recognize a lot of my character defects now easier than what I did before.
Yeah.
And I'm still working on them daily.
Yeah.
You know,
What about you, Jay?
Well, for me, I had to really do a complete psychic change. Like I said, 13 years of using, as Mike said as well, I did a lot of wrong. I hurt a lot of people. And a lot of the ways I acted was out of basically survival, because I needed to get my drug and I was going to do whatever I had to do to get it. But however, I was never raised like that. I wasn't raised to rob people or to lie to people consistently or to hurt people. And I've always had a big heart, and I've always been a caring and kind person. But when I hopped into that world and became a full-blown addict, all of that had to go away. You know, my beating red heart turned black. So doing with that, obviously there was a lot of shame, a lot of guilt for the things I've done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not proud of a lot of the things, most of the things I did in my active addiction. And so when I got sober this time, really got sober and really put in the work, it started with day one that I had a vision. I had a vision in my head of what it is that I want to do, who I'm going to be, and how I'm going to do it. I don't want to be that person anymore. I'm tired of being a failure. I'm tired of hurting people. I'm tired of being a letdown. I want to be something in this world. And I'm tired of throwing who I am at the core away. And so it really started with, for me, mine is rooted in a 12-step recovery program, doing daily disciplines, meditation, working, sponsoring other addicts and alcoholics, just being of service any way that I can, however I can. And, you know, I really had to dig deep and heal those wounds and that damage that I'd done and the things that I'm so embarrassed and shamed about. And I got relief by working a 12-step program. That's what I did. I found that's what worked for me. However, I do realize and get and endorse, there's other pathways to recovery. I think you should utilize all tools and all resources.
Every one of them.
I don't think there is I don't think there's a preferred or correct way. I think you need to find what works for you and do it, but also be open to other things. The main thing is, for me, was healing and growing. Mike said, like I said, there's a lot of shame and guilt, and we have a story now. We have a testimony. See, all the things that I did wrong, all the shameful things that and the hurt I caused, I can now take the power from that because of the way I'm living and being now. So now the fucked up story that I had is now a testimony, because the way I walk and the way I talk matches these days.
Yeah.
I have a light that I shine these days. I'm of service, and I want to help others these days. The black heart is now red, and it's now beating, it's now pumping, and it's exhibiting love and care and compassion and kindness.
No more lies.
No more I don't lie today.
No more hurt.
I can ask you, I don't lie today.
It's crazy, right?
What do I got to lie about?
Right.
I'm not high, so I don't got to tell you I'm not. When you know I am. I don't have to. I don't have to help you look for the dope that I stole from you.
Yeah.
I don't have to say no. I didn't pawn your Xbox, dude. I swear. I don't know what happened to it. I really don't.
Yeah.
I really don't. No, baby. I didn't spend all the rent money on drugs. I didn't do any heroin.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I'm the only sober one here, and I still fucking lie all the time, dude.
Yeah.
I lie to my kids. I'm kidding right now. Kids, I don't fucking lie to you.
And I don't want to make it seem like I'm a perfect human or a perfect individual.
No.
But what I do is I try to be the best version of me every day. And like also Mike said, I have the awareness today, and like I feel bad. So, I feel bad for even having like an argument or a blow up at somebody.
Yeah.
So that makes me not want to do those things again, because I don't want to live or operate in that fashion anymore. I've worked damn hard to get to this point.
Yeah.
Because I'm the type of guy, I didn't want to stop using. I actually, and the sick thing about me is I actually loved the lifestyle, even though there was times I really hated it. If I had a drug, I'm cool, because I was so caught up into it that it was normal and natural to me. And I loved it. And I don't have to live like that anymore. And I found a new way to live. And I take pride in that today, because I didn't know a lot of these things were possible. I didn't know that life could be good in sobriety or sober.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I didn't know how it was going to be.
But I also never gave it a chance either. The longest I've ever been clean prior to this point was 30 days. I now have almost 15 months. And that's crazy, because I spent, like I said, the last 13 years using as much as I could, when I could, however I could. I take pride in, like I said, my sobriety and being helpful and useful to others.
When I met you in a meeting, man, I like to think that I share really well. And I had already knew that I was going to do a podcast with him, because he's a fucking idiot. And I love his energy, and I love his stupidity. Well, when I heard you share, my girlfriend had actually heard you share before, and she was like, man, this guy is so fucking, sounds so good and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll hear him. And when I heard you, I was like, I want that dude to be on a podcast with me.
Yeah.
Because I know how much sobriety means to you. I know that you went through some shit, and I know that your story can fucking reach a lot of people. And you were very well spoken. And when your energy about it, I was like, fuck yeah. And I asked you that night, I said, bro, you want to do a podcast together? And you were like, fuck yeah.
What was that, 6-8 months ago?
Yeah.
And here we are,
Yeah,
baby.
here we are.
Here we
Well,
are.
there was a solid, the way he's not telling you, Jay, there was a solid 6 to 8 months before that where we were talking about it. Like, this thing is really, I I'm fucking blown away, dude. I mean, I really am, man. I really am.
We're doing
I'm super. This is the first time I've been in here, and I hadn't seen it. I've seen pictures and I've seen everything, but I can't fucking tell you how. You know, and I'm proud of you too for what it's worth. I know I don't know you as well as I know Mike, but I'm fucking through the moon proud of you.
I appreciate it.
And all this shit that you put together here. And I can't wait to I guess keep your guys' stories organized, because I know I know that we have content for fucking days between the stories of you two. So I can't wait to interject. I promise any of the stupid shit that I'll ever say to you will only be to keep it moving along, or to add levity, or to keep me from fucking crying. Because there's been
we're gonna cry.
I'm gonna cry.
There's gonna be some tears shed.
There's gonna be a lot of fucking tears shed, I feel like.
This is all possible because of recovery and sobriety. Like, we would not be able to do this. The work and effort it's taken on all parties, and this is just three people's visions and ideas coming together, and at the right time, at the right moment. It almost feels like it's fate. But I love. You know, I am passionate. If anyone ever sees me at a meeting, you know, come say what's up to me for sure. For sure. In the Austin area, or if we're out of, you know, definitely come holler at me. I share the way I share, not because I want to give a good share, because I'm trying to boast or grandstand. I've never told or been perceived that way, but, you know, I know some people out there do that. That's never been my aim or my mission or my goal. I can't contain it.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I have to be energetic and passionate about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
I'm serious about it. Because again, this is a guy that never wanted to stop using drugs and alcohol. I wanted it. I needed it, and would do whatever it took to get it. I never thought it would be possible. Even when I wanted it to be possible, I didn't want it to be possible. So when I finally gave it a chance, November 3rd, 2022, that's my sobriety date. I said, yeah, we're going to do this. I'm tired of living that way.
I know Mike did too. Like watching you, I know you know, I know the circumstances around you going, but I'll never forget that day as long as I live.
Man,
that day where everything got arranged for you to fucking take off. I'll never fucking forget that day.
So it was New Year's of 2021. So my sobriety date is January 1st, 2022. But it was New Year's 2021. I was with my daughter's mom and her family. We still spend Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving and everything together, so my daughter can have us both.
Beautiful thing.
And I was with her family, and they could just tell that I was off. Like, you know, and what's crazy is in my addiction, I didn't think people could recognize.
Yeah.
Like we'll post some pictures for my addiction, and my eyes look. I mean, complete baggage.
Yeah.
But I always thought, well, I'm just getting older. That's what happens when you get older. Like that. That's what that's how I lie to myself, right?
Yeah.
And then people would make comments about me using them, and I would always tell them, yeah, but I've slowed down a lot. I never slowed down.
Yeah.
But that's something I told myself.
Sped up.
Yeah, sped up.
Sped up, baby.
But she texted me on January 1st, 2022, and she said, hey, I want you to go get tested. And I was like, yeah, I think I have COVID, trying to play it off. And she's like, no, I want you to get a hair follicle test. And look, I had cheated hair follicle tests in the past. I had cheated tests through courts. I've cheated all of them. And she caught me on the last one. And that was the day that I said, you know what, I'm tired of fighting this. I was already wanting to stop because fentanyl started coming in. And I had done meth a few times with fentanyl in it. And it scared me to where I was praying.
Yeah.
Please let me make it through this. And I went about, 12 days sober. And then I was at work, and my buddy, Brody, I'll say his name because he deserves all the respect in the world. I was a miserable train wreck that day. I was crying. If you've ever stopped meth, you know you start going through a depression stage that's just unbearable. And like I never understood how people could commit suicide. And look, I don't condone it. But if people feel that way every day, I can see where they get to a point to where they're like, fuck this. Because that's how I felt.
Yeah.
And Brody said, you know what, I'm putting you in rehab tomorrow. I know a place, I'm putting you in rehab. And I was like, you know, I was doing the whole fight and shit. I'm not going. He's like, no, you're going to go because you're going to start using a night if you don't. And I said, I don't have the money to go. And he paid for it. It's like $4,500. He paid for my rehab. And
well, there was, so you may not, I don't know how much you know, but I was there for all of that. And Brody definitely was the conductor, but there were other people.
Oh, there was a lot.
Before Brody, Brody got in there and basically just took over.
Yeah.
And when I talked to Brody about that, because I was like, are you and Mike, like, are you guys like best friends or something? He's like, no, we're friends. And I looked at him, I was like, man, why, you know, your first thought is, then why would you go to that great length to help somebody out that's just kind of like a buddy, you know?
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he's like, I've been there. And I saw the look in his face. And when I saw that look in his face, I knew there was a 5-minute window where it was like, if this 5 minute passes me by, he's going to be gone again.
Yeah.
So I had to fucking grab him by the neck and be like, what, you're going to live with me for a second and then we're going to get you out. That was a wild thing, sitting there like talking to Brody about that. And you know, and anybody that knows that guy, he's one of the most intense people that you have, but intense in that intense love, like there's no in between. Like
he either loves you or he doesn't.
Yeah, no, it's like worse than that. Like if he likes you, he fucking loves you and he'll go murder for you. But if he doesn't really like you that much, he fucking hates you and he'll like kill you, like, and won't even think about it. So
that's what started it.
I remember that. I'll never forget that day. How wild it was. How somber.
That was the scariest day that I think I've ever had. Because I had to call my mom and tell my mom that I was an addict, and she had defended me for years, telling my family he's not. And you know, before that, I had ruined Christmas and New Year's before that with my family because I didn't show up. I decided to get high instead of showing up, so my family wasn't talking to me already. And then I had to call my daughter's mom and let her know that I'm an addict and I'm going to rehab. And it was probably one of the best phone calls I've ever made. It was the scariest phone call that I've ever made. And she was understanding. She said, you know what, if this is what's going to make you be a better dad, then go do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, the company, they paid, the people got together, my managers, y'all put money together and paid for my rent, paid for my bills while I was there. You know.
We just didn't want you to have a fucking excuse. Like, that was it. We were like, that's as like real as it is. I know it's a funny statement to make, but
no, it's true.
The one thing
why?
that you'll lean on is like, I've got bills to pay. And we're like, fuck you, asshole. We got it. Go off, you know, like
J-Kline can probably attest to this. When you get to rehab and you finally start getting that sober mind, you start realizing all the fuck shit that you did.
Yeah.
And you want to go fix it right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here right now. I need to go fix this.
Yeah.
I need to go spend time with my daughter. So the rehab that I went to, you couldn't drive there and they took your phone from you when you got there.
Yeah.
So you were stuck there.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to leave, that's fine. We'll bring you to the gate and you can fucking hitch a ride home. And that was probably the best thing for me because I was able to get in my own space and fucking realize all the pain and the drama that I caused and all that, let the tears flow. And I went to the best place that I think you go to. And, but yeah, that's a real thing. When you get there and you start getting sober, you want to go save everything, go correct everything, but you just got to sit in your shit and realize and just get better. You get better for you first before you can be better for anybody else.
Yeah.
And I asked him one time, I said, man, why did you do that? And he told me the same shit.
Yeah.
He said, because I've been there and I know that there's a small window for someone to get help. And I seen it in your eyes that you were willing to get help.
Yeah.
And he said, and I know the kind of heart that you have. If you could beat this, that you'll go help other people beat it too, any way that you can.
It's almost like a pay it forward thing.
Yeah.
So, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Right? Like,
here we are.
One of the guys that we work with, I won't say his name, but he was like, oh, he ain't going to fucking like this one. And so I'll ask it to you both. But What step of the program are you in?
Well, I've worked all my 12 steps,
Yeah.
and I live in 10, 11, and 12 on the daily.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean to those that aren't aware or don't know?
I'm not aware.
So basically it's giving back to another addict and alcoholic, but also still, doing my disciplines, still checking in with myself, still doing my accountability, doing my daily and nightly inventories, so that way I can be of maximum service and still continue to heal, grow, and, evolve in my own process. But my main thing is giving it away, helping another addict and alcoholic.
Yeah. And so now we're going to ask you, Mike, because I know,
So when I
this is a struggle for you.
When I went through rehab, I went through the steps. And then as I've got out of rehab, you're supposed to go through them again. And I'm a big step 4. I sit on step 4.
It was a rhetorical question. He told me.
Yeah.
And he was like, he's been on step 4 for fucking ever. He's going to fucking hate this quick.
I tell you what, I'll get my steps done in the next 3 weeks. I'll get all the way through them in the next 3 weeks.
No, there's no shame in it. Or
No,
anything.
there actually is, because I should be sponsoring a lot of other people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like J-Kline said, there's 3 things that we talk about sometimes in meetings: is trust God, clean house, and help another addict, be of service to someone else.
Yeah.
And those are things that keep you sober.
Right.
And those are things that keep you out of your own mind.
Right.
On days that you're feeling pity party about yourself, the best thing you can do is pick up and call and check on someone else.
Yeah.
So those are, I'll make that commitment now. I'll get that done in the next 3
We're
weeks.
gonna have an episode when you finish. We'll do it. Mike's 12
Mike's
steps.
12 stepper
Mike's
now.
2.5 year 12 step.
Yeah, bro.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. He was guy we work with is also in recovery, and he just I had that question written down, and I went to him for some advice because I knew what he was going through, and he was like, dude, these questions are really good, but Mike's not gonna fucking like this one.
You know what's funny is my daughter's 8, and that is the number one reason why I got sober. She was the reason that I went, and then I started doing it for myself and for other people around me, but she's the reason. But she said something to me the other day. She fucking burned me. She said something, and I said, Dad's been sober for over 2 years. She said, no, Dad, what's crazy is you've been sober for over 2 years and you're still on step number 4. No. And I said, wow, man, fuck.
Damn.
Like, there's nothing you can even say to that. That's coming from an 8-year-old. She just mic dropped the shit out of
Big
her.
mic drop.
Big mic drop. I was like, all right, touche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just fuck.
Yeah, there's nothing you can say. It's just like,
Yeah.
Right, baby.
Hey, you want to go get some candy or something?
I don't know what to
on that one. Do.
Let's change the
like, no, Dad, what's crazy is you've been sober for over 2 years and you're still on step number 4. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, so you're a procrastinator.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we got a full episode in here. Yeah. And I think we have set this thing on fire.
I think so.
I feel really good about it, and for being the first time out of the gate, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little choppy, but we're going to get it right, and we're going to get it right for all you guys out there that are still struggling.
Most definitely, and that's the main reason at the end of the day of what we do this for. Mike, you shared about it in a Facebook post the other day, to kick this thing off, and it's about being a voice, like I said, and being that messenger and providing a platform that goes deep, that goes real, that goes raw. Sadness, tears will be shed, laughs will be had, sense will be made, questions will be asked, but the listeners, the viewers will be inspired, educated, entertained, humored, because at the end of the day, we're doing this for the people.
Yeah.
To go back into that fire, like you said, and pull somebody out, man.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
There's people out there struggling, whether it's mental health or addiction or both, or just life. I think this is an all-encompassing thing. We're not just doing it for necessarily just one group of people, though the premise is recovery and those in addiction, mental health.
Well,
Yeah.
We all struggle, and this is what we do.
I think everybody in the world knows somebody that has
Right.
an issue with one of those if they don't struggle from it themselves.
Right.
You know, I mean, I know so many addicts out there. I know so many people that struggle with mental health, depression. And the crazy thing is if we can overcome it, I feel like anybody can fucking overcome it.
well,
That's what we do.
well, let's save some of this content for next time, boys. What do you say?
Yes, sir.
Love it, man.
Yeah,
It's been a pleasure.
let's
man.
go. Been a pleasure.
Moron.
Let's fucking go.
Subscribe, click the like. We appreciate all of you. Love y'all.
J-Kline.
Joey the moron.
Mike, Stu Boy, Addict, Meth, GHB.
All right, see you guys later.